These are all the books I read in the month of July. So the first book I read this month was King of Scars. So earlier this year I read Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone, and now I'm finally getting to read the King of Scars duology, and I'm so in love with this book already. I definitely need to buy Rule of Wolves the next time I visit a bookstore. Also, I love how well the color of my tabs went with this book. This is my color system. Also, at the beginning of this month, I went book shopping in Sydney because there were like a lot of really big bookstores there. So next 3 books are books that I bought in Sydney. The next book I read was Kiki's Delivery Service, and this is one of my favorite Studio Ghibli films, so I was so excited to read this book. It was so sweet and cute and wholesome. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice, simple story. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And it's actually been quite a few years since I last watched Kiki's Delivery Service. So maybe I should rewatch that movie sometime soon. But yeah, I love how it's a story about a young witch. Cover is so cute as well. The next book I read is another book about a witch, but this is an old witch. Like, how old was she? Was it like over 500 years old? I might have remembered that completely wrong, but I think she was over 500. And as you can see by the title, it's about a girl who drank the moon. Wait, have I said the name of the book? It's called The Girl Who Drank the Moon. And this is a book that's actually been on my TBR since 2023, so like 2 years now. It was on my TBR for so long, but I never actually saw it in a bookstore, so that's why I kind of forgot about it. But then when I saw it in, I think it was Dymocks in Sydney, I was like, this is finally my chance to buy it and read it. And wow, this actually exceeded my expectations as well. Such a good fantasy book. I loved it so much, and I gave it 5 stars. It was so magical and whimsical, and I would have definitely loved to read it in 2023. But you know what? Better late than never. I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it already. And I also think autumn or winter would be the perfect time to read it, because it just feels like the kind of book you would read on like a cozy winter night. The next book I read was The Graveyard Book. This is the 3rd Neil Gaiman book I've read this year, and I also really loved this book. This is also a children's book, and I feel like in the first half of the book I was not liking it as much. Like, I was enjoying it, but I wasn't really connecting with it that much. But then towards the end of the book, like, everything was starting to like build up, and I was just so excited. And by the end of the book, I was just absolutely loving this book. I think I gave it 4.7 or 4.8 stars. I think it was 4.7. Basically, it's about this boy called Nobody who was raised by ghosts in a graveyard. It's really good. I just loved the ending so much. I think I liked it ever so slightly less than Coraline, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane is still my favorite Neil Gaiman book, but I still really like this. The perfect book to read in winter, especially at the beginning, which I started on a rainy winter night. That was the perfect atmosphere. The last book I read this month was The Lost Heir, which is the 2nd book in the Wings of Fire series. So this book actually follows Tsunami's perspective, who is the Sea Wing. And as much as I loved reading Clay's perspective, it was also really interesting to see Tsunami's perspective. I actually really like this book. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I just finished this yesterday actually, and I really liked the ending. And I also really liked Riptide, but I don't think we're gonna see him or hear from him again anytime soon, because in the last book I said I really liked Peryl's character, and we've kind of left her behind, and now we've left Riptide behind, and we're on to like the next location. Oh yeah, and in this book they went to the Sea Wing Kingdom, and we met Tsunami's mother and her sister Anemone. I definitely want to continue reading this series. In fact, I've already borrowed the third book from the library because I think this is a very popular book series at my school. So as soon as I see that the book is available, I'm going to borrow it. So yeah, that was all the books that I read this month. These two are definitely my favorites this month. Overall, it was a pretty good reading month. I really liked all these books. That's all for this video, so thank you so much for watching and see you next month.